The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everyone, this is your girl, Etsy bookgal 843, and we are here on another Tuesday night. And you guys, tonight is going to be special. We have a warrior. We have one of God's warriors, you guys. This lady, this elder, this staple of energy is just phenomenal. There's so many words that you could describe somebody who who has everything on her back, but her smile, her will, her determination, God got his hands all over her, okay? So, you guys, for Women's History Month, I am going to be interviewing four female authors. They're going to talk to you about their journeys on being an author. They're going to talk about their journeys as a woman, a woman, or women, and just them. Because everything that's going on, sometimes the flight of the black woman, and yes, I did say black woman, and no, I'm not being racist, but y'all know we go through a lot. And when you can look at somebody who is going through so much, you get energy off of them, and they don't even know that they're giving you the energy. They do not even know how much they're blessing you in their life, in your life, because you see them continue to go on. So tonight I have my first guest. She is the author of the book entitled The Muted Cage. Tonight I am going to bring up Miss Millie Gross. Come on up. Hello.
I
And how are you, my sweetheart?
I am the best I can be right now.
And that is the best you are.
Yes,
God has you here for a reason. And he is going to use you to encourage us. And by encouraging us, you're actually encouraging yourself again too.
that is
Because
true.
it's something when you go back and you remember where you come from or what you went through. How that song was, that old spiritual. How I got over. My soul looks back and wonder how I got over. That's just Yo, that was one of my granny songs, yo. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm being very, very how they say, walking down memory lane tonight. But I'll tell y'all about that later why. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Milagros. It means miracles. And even before I was born, that has been my walk from miracle to miracle to miracle. I was born in Puerto Rico, raised in the Virgin Islands, and I was always considered a little weird. I I have my own style. I don't follow fashion. I don't follow what other people are doing, and I'm happy with myself. Most of the time, I am told that I don't fit in, and I am okay with that because I don't want to fit in everywhere, and I don't want to fit in with everyone. I just want to fit in with my creator because he created me with purpose. And that's the life I really want to live.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. So
Thank you.
you said he purpose. How did you find out the purpose?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I went through a whole series of abuse. Part of the story within the muted cage is about the abuse, all kinds of abuse, you name it. I dealt with it. But also, I found so much strength in going back to write my story. It took me 7 years to write that book. Why? Because every time I was confronted with a truth that I had hidden, that I had silenced, it threw me into weeks, sometimes months of depression. So in dealing with that, I found my strength. I found me within my pain, within the devastation that I had been living. There was an instance, I was about 15 years old, and I asked God, because I was going out. My mother was very strict. She always used to keep me by her side. But for some reason, when I was 13 and a half, she let me go out with my neighbor. Although my neighbor was older than I was her chaperone. I was the assurance that she would return home, right? So one day, I'm getting ready. I'm ready to go because this is the only freedom I found in my home. My mom, I was thinking she must be crazy because she doesn't let me go anywhere. And she's letting me go with this girl. So I used to go and dance Friday, Saturday, Sundays. And this one day, we had already started like visiting church. And this one day, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go dancing. And I heard the voice say, "Do not go." And I was like, "What? Do not go? Now that I'm having fun?" Oh, yes, I kept
Wow.
getting ready. Second time, do not go. And I felt a little chill, like, oh, this might be a little serious. But my flesh was rising. I just wanted to go because, again, it was the only freedom I knew. So I said, "No, I'm going." The third time, that was it, because I heard the voice again. And he said, "Do not go, because if you go, you will not return home." So, of course, I was very upset that somebody was getting in the way of my fun. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to go, but I'm not going to go to church either. That didn't last too long because even though I did not find the fullness of God within the church I was going, I was beginning to feel God in a different way. So, about 3 days later, I started going back to the church and whatnot. But I was so angry. And I said to God, "Why are you talking to me now? Why? When the abuse, especially the sexual abuse, ended when I was 12. So why now when I don't need you? I'm okay now." Yeah, right. I was okay, wrong. So God never answered that question during that time. But about 10 years ago, and I was 15 and I'm 62 now. So about 10 years ago, God took me back to that moment. And he said, "Do you remember when you asked me that question?" And I said, "Yes, I do." But you never answered. He said, "I'll answer now, but I'm going to ask you a question. when things were happening to you and you were going through certain abuse and you felt like you left your body and you can see what they were doing to you. How did you feel? And I had to really think about that. And I said, I felt safe. He said, do you know why? I said, no. He said, because in those moments when your body was going through what it was going through, I still had you within my arms. That's why you felt safe, because I was holding you in my arms. So that answered the question, where is God when I'm going through all this sickness, problem, situations, lack? God is always there. He is always there. Our pain blinds us. And we cannot see, we cannot feel, we cannot understand. And of course, that is the work of the enemy. Separate us from the truth of God in our lives. Anyway, that started a whole new cycle in my life. And I'm here.
See, you now got me over here. Cause he's just God has a crazy sense of humor. You know that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He has a crazy sense of humor. Oh wow. And when he's ready to show you something, it's always mind blowing.
Yes. It's life changing.
And like I'm hearing the song, um, uh, the song "Big God." Literally, that's what he is.
Yes.
Because when he comes, he's like, "Now you okay? I hear you, but when I come, I'm coming. When I come, I'm gonna show out because I need you to know that this is me. You won't
Yes.
think it's nothing else, but it's me."
Yes. I,
So,
I talk a little bit about the muted cage. The name, I had several names for the book because in 1993, Holy Spirit inspired me and I heard the voice, write your story. And I was so happy because in my mind it's like, oh, I'm going to tell everything that they did to me and whew, I'm going to empty myself. And God stopped me. He said, no, that is not the intention of it. You will not write that book as a victim. You are going to write that book as somebody who witnessed the abuse. And you are going to share it with people because there are many people, first of all, that have gone through many of the things that you have gone through. But they think that they are the only one because nobody talks about these things. Number two, there are a lot of people that have not experienced the kind of abuse that many have. And they look at a person and they say, oh, that person is just so bitter, they're crazy. They misbehave, they have this problem. And very few people take the time to seek within the person what is really going on.
hmm
So the muted cage gives a little window as to what is going on in the mind of people that go through very severe abuse.
mm, mm,
So it had many names. And I had this book from 1993 and 2003. I went to a poetry conference in Florida. And something happened that we ended up giving a ride to a gentleman that my cousin didn't know, and I did not know either. Anyway, we gave him a ride. She stopped at a gas station, got out the car, and he's behind me. And he taps my shoulder and he says, you a writer? And I'm like, yeah, I write poetry. I didn't want to think about the book at all, right? Because of how full it was with all my pain. And he said, no, you wrote a book. And in that book, every letter represents tears that you have cried. And that book is going to go to places that you don't even know about. That book is about healing many souls. Anyway, I was still scared of publishing the book because of its content, because I am not explicit, but I am very real and very raw in telling my story. So he said, just do what you need to do with the book. That was in 2003. I didn't publish that book until 2018. I was over at my niece, and I would travel and carry the manuscript with me and just keep it hidden. She found it and she put it in my hand. She said, what are you going to do with this? What about this? She was very serious. And I was like, I just don't even know what name to give it, because every time I give it a name, it doesn't feel right. And the minute she placed it on my hand, I had a vision of a cage made of words. And
Mm-hmm.
the door for the cage was open. And so it looked beautiful because the words adorned the the cage. So I decided, okay, so that's it. Then I heard a whisper, the muted cage. And I'm like, the muted cage. People are going to think that it's because I lost my voice so many years ago. And I still struggle with that. And the Holy Spirit said, it is muted because the words are real. The words are there. And most of the time, when people look at the cover, they say, oh, that's a beautiful cage. And I tell them, look closer. And they're like, it's beautiful. And I tell them there are 11 words that adorn that cage. And only one word is a positive word, and it's the word free. And yet, those words held me captive within the cage that I couldn't see the open door. That is
Mm-hmm.
the cage I was living in. The words had me a prisoner. And that's how that name came about. And even the picture in the cover, I had someone, her name is Norma Trish. She drew the picture for me.
And you guys, if you see this cover, I wish I had my book with me. It is the most beautiful cover. It has three colors: yellow, white, black. Okay. But that cage, like she said, it is so beautiful. And to the naked eye, you just see a cage. But you have to look a little further, and then you will see the words on the cage.
Yes.
As a female author, well, let's say as an author, period, do you feel that this book would be received greatly because you're a female? Or do you feel that, like some people said, some books have to be, they feel like some books have to be written by a male or from a male perspective for the book to be a great book? Do you feel that in this case? Because I love it. But
No, actually, my brain doesn't filter that. My brain doesn't think like that. What I know is that people need hope. And within the book, it's not just telling my story, it's also presenting, because I tell one story, let's say, about a beating that I got, and it was not justified. And then I I do a little summary of how I experience the pain. And it's not the physical pain, but the spiritual and emotional pain that I felt. And then I write how I matured from that space. So if people were to give the book a chance, a lot of people would be set free because it set me free to write this book. And God does not make mistakes. So, and a lot of people that have read the book, they always have great things to say about the book, and they call me brave and a great writer. And to me, I see nothing of that. What I see is that I needed to be obedient. And because you are obedient and you are faithful in doing what God tells you to do, of course, I took my time. I ran away from it like Jonah. I had a journey to get to where I can release the book because I have a family that I love and I love them deeply, and I knew that it was going to bring conflict, and it did. But I had to be willing to obey God, even if it
Yeah.
meant standing alone. And sometimes we don't want that, and we don't have the courage to do that.
And you have that courage.
Ah, little bits of that courage, step by step. I mean, God
Hmm.
really had to push me a lot, but I had
Hmm.
to submit. I had to give in because I understand the intention and purpose of the book. It's not about me. It's not about my family. It's about the souls that are suffering, that are living in devastation, that are willing to even try suicide. I did because I was done. I was tired. I was asking God, take me with you. And he didn't. So then I tried myself. So it's a book that can bring hope to a lot of people.
And that is one of the things we need nowadays. That is, oh my God, that's one of the things we need nowadays, especially with everything that's going on.
Yes.
So, as we close out tonight, what message would you leave us?
The message I want to leave people with is that God is real. He is so real that even before we were born, He already had our story planned out for us. And so God gave me a saying, I use it as a hashtag. It's time to return to God because we struggle, we fight, we suffer, and sometimes we suffer, struggle and fight more than we need to because we can't align with God's will. And aligning with God's will is a fight. It's a choice that you have to make. It doesn't
Mhm.
just happen. And it hurts. Sometimes it's denying yourself and taking the cross, like Jesus said. And
Mm.
taking your cross and denying yourself, that's the last thing we want to do because
Yep.
we want to have a position. We want to have authority. We want to have all these things, but we want to be. Yet Jesus said, deny yourself. These days, who is really denying themselves? Very few
Mm.
people. But at some point, if we really want to live God's plan, that great and perfect plan that He created for us, we're going to have to get out the way. We're going to have to submit, and we're going to have to deny ourselves and our desires and our wants and our dreams. Because most of the dreams we have, Most of the businesses we build have nothing to do with God and His kingdom and what He has for us.
And what he has for us is way greater than what we can give for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Way greater. But of course, we feel like we have to do it. It's like, sit down and let me handle this. It's like a little kid and they want to do it so bad because they want to do it and want to do it. And God is like the parent. Sit down and let me handle it. Did you,
Yes.
did you do what I told you to do? But you want to do this, but you didn't do what I told you to do. Not tell. I told you because I've been telling you to do that.
Yeah.
So go do what I told you to do and let me handle this.
And then we want to wonder why it didn't work and why God is not helping. Well, you know what? God already has a plan. And if you choose to build your plan, don't expect Him to come and serve you.
How they used to say down here in the south, hard head make a soft behind.
Yeah.
And God sitting up there like, I told you. You ready to listen now?
Yeah.
So tell us how we can get your book. We have your social media that is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. But just tell us how we can grab your book so we can read it for ourselves.
Okay. The Muted Cage is available on Amazon. They have the Kindle and they have the paperback. The rest of my books, and including The Muted Cage, are published through lulu.com. I have
Mhm.
about 8 or 9 books there.
Yes. So, you guys, you know what I do. I always post the next morning. There is a blog that comes out. I will have all the links for you guys to purchase her book. And you can follow her at the social media that is at the bottom. And also, we'll have that available for you too. Okay. We thank you for being with us tonight. We
Thank you
truly
for
thank you.
having me.
So, you guys, it's another Tuesday night. Oh my God. So, I don't lose the Mother of the Year award. I would like to wish my daughter, Anaya Elizabeth Grimble, a happy 10th birthday, old lady.
Happy birthday.
But you guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Next week, join me as I have Ms. Robinson. She's going to be our next author for our Women's History Month, and she'll be talking about her latest read. Always remember, there's no such thing as an old book because not everyone has read every book. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.